My bad, I'm back. Um, let's do more. We'll do a little bit more, and then maybe we'll do something. I don't know. I don't know what else I want to play. We did too much Isaac last night. New appeal portal simplifies the appeal process. I'm okay. So those are your router settings, please. Alright, let's now return. Looking for a knife. Looking for a knife of some sort. Heard it was fairly bad. Oh no, it was pretty enjoyable with a little pot. Pot on the top of the stove. Some ingredients around here I could cook something up for us. We actually cook. Who the heck do you think I am? I better believe I know how to boil hot water and put it in things. And I can boil eggs too. Oh, lights as this doesn't finally go our way. I wish to have a knife. Rolling pin the colander. Could you open that door, please? What the heck? There's no way I could open that thing. You should get into that age where your eyes start to go, huh? Better watch your mouth or something won't live long enough to see that door open. Has it got the two of them on edge? Get out of here fast. Just find me a knife. And a ladle. I think a ladle is gonna be very useful. Big old iron plate over the door. But what about a big knife? Nine is a nine. Nine is nine even next decimal and decimal. 10 is a next decimal. F. 10. Imagine food is put here after it's prepared so that the waiters and waitresses can take it to the customers. Something doesn't seem right here. Why are there so many plates? 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F, 10, 11. They count hexadecimal. Light for the pantry. Milk. Cheese. A knife.
A rusty knife?
And a box in the cabinet.
I don't think we'll be able to use it while it's like this.
Knife seemed important, Junpei thought, but wasn't going to be much.
It's
use to
futile.
Futile?
You know, a waste, useless, pointless.
Oh. Any particular reason you wanted to bring that up?
Oh, no reason really. I was just thinking about futility.
Huh?
Doesn't make much sense.
Why were you
Paraphrasing
thinking
his
about
question.
futility?
Well, it has something to do with the Titanic.
The Titanic?
Yep. Have you ever heard the story that the sinking of the Titanic was predicted?
No, I haven't. What is it?
In 1892, 14 years before the Titanic sank, a novel was published. It was called Futility. It was written by an American novelist named Morgan Robertson. The story was about a big cruise ship colliding with an iceberg and sinking. Of course, if that was the only similarity, there wouldn't be any reason to mention it. It wasn't, though. The name of the ship, its nationality, course, departure time, size, displacement, maximum speed, number of passengers and crew, the number of lifeboats, even the location of the accident itself, and the cause and the location of the damage. Everything matches the Titanic almost exactly. It was almost as if he'd seen the whole thing happen. But this book was written 14 years before the Titanic sank.
You just say prior.
But that's not all. It wasn't just futility that predicted the sinking of the Titanic. There were two other similar stories written by a man named William Thomas Stead. Both of them before the accident. One in 1886 and one in 1892. Stead wrote two stories that had striking similarities to the Titanic disaster. In one, two ships collided. Many of the passengers died because there weren't enough lifeboats. In the other, a ship collided with an iceberg and sank.
So is like the director of this game just like a huge Titanic nerd?
I don't know. I mean, I'll give you that it seems a little weird, but
Made a whole escape room game tied around the
I'm
Titanic.
pretty sure it wasn't too uncommon for ships to hit icebergs back in the day, or even other ships.
Right, I knew you'd say that.
Hmm?
But what if Stead had some sort of special powers? To be more specific, what if he had the ability to do automatic writing?
What? Automatic writing? Wait, are you talking about when someone's possessed by a spirit and then they write a bunch of stuff without knowing what they're writing?
Yes.
What do you mean, yes? That stuff's a load of bull. Okay, let's say, hypothetically, that automatic writing isn't a total load. These guys still couldn't have predicted the sinking of the Titanic.
And then I think I just now get your outfit. You have a hoodie underneath that shirt, but it's inside out, or it's backwards. The hood is on the front.
When this Stead dude wrote his thing, nobody had died on the Titanic yet. So if automatic writing is about being possessed by dead people, who the hell possessed him so he could write that stuff?
That's not it.
What's not it?
Stead wasn't possessed by a spirit. He was doing the possessing.
Oh. What are you smoking?
William Thomas Stead was a passenger on the Titanic. He just wrote down what he saw with his own eyes 20 years before it happened.
He decided it was probably the best to say nothing. What June was saying was insane and utterly abused, absurd. He tried to take what she was saying seriously. You feel mad?
Well,
June probably smiled uncomfortably.
why don't we talk about this some other time, okay?
Huh? But
Voice trailed off and she glanced
Come
at
on,
the floor
let's
troubled.
get back to it.
Junpei tapped June gently on the shoulder and awkwardly reached around her to pick up the knife from the box. Rusty knife and then combined that with the whetstone. I want to combine it with the whetstone. The blade of the knife is getting sharper by the second. You would cut something pretty good with this. Cleaned it up and everything, huh? Alright, now that I've sharpened the knife, we can cut the pork. Awesome jump, buddy. Now we can cut the paper. Cut out the paper. C plus 10 plus F. So 13, 23, 38? C plus 10 plus F, do you think it's some kind of code? Dang it, they're just screwing around. Do you know what C and F stands for? Corporate finance. I thought it was clever and funny. Probably what you're supposed to use to enter the password. Put in the right number to open the oven. Maybe the note you found earlier? Yeah, I know. Enter those numbers. I think E is to enter and C is for clearing. We're in this my answer, I press E. I'm sure I press C, right? Yes. Spot is 3 digits. This is weird. Punching random numbers, aren't you? You're really, like I said in the head. Shut up. Work note C, which is 13, plus 10, 23, F, 38. Then I hit 38. And you don't give me any more information about like which one was which. Now place for appetizers. 9. 10. Stuff in the voucher. 15. 16 meat. Maybe we add them with these. C is 12. Whoops. 37. Maybe C plus 10 plus F is hexadecimal number. Convert to base 10. That's what I just did. 12 plus 10 plus 15 is 37. It doesn't work. Maybe this time it'll work. See what happens. Nine. 10. Be 20 of 34. 60. 60 plus 37? 97? Ten equals 16. I'm sorry. 10 equals 16. It's 10 to 16. And then good job, Jumpy. I'm not gonna do math. I was like, yeah, it's probably 42-ish. In the 40s. Saturn key card. Lowercase h, but the line was throwing me off. Symbol for Saturn. Remember, there was no elevator next to the main staircase. Isn't there a mark like this in the card region next to it? Remember that? That means the carding couldn't help us get out of the room then. I'm not sure when we try it out. Yes, it's unlocked now. Did a jumpy. Get out of here now. Let's get out of here. Let's go. You did it. You found it.
I think we've been here before.
No grade stretch far from the wall. From wall to wall. Behind over 2 elevators in the entrance.
The
of
elevators
kitchen.
are over there, so that means...
We went into the kitchen through that door and came out on this side.
That means the map was right.
Looks like.
Then let's use it to plan our next move.
Next move?
Yeah, we need to decide where to go from here, don't we?
He's right. Let's get started.
From the looks of it, there are 4 possible routes. Let's just keep it simple and call them A, B, C, and D.
A and B lead to the same area?
First, A and B.
They both seem to connect to a room that looks L-shaped.
Yeah, there were 2 doors. But they were both locked. We couldn't open them.
Now, Route C. This goes all the way to the main staircase.
That means it's door 5, one of the numbered doors.
Then do you think we would meet up with the other 4 after this hallway?
No, I don't think we will.
Why not?
Look, there by the stairs. See how the gate is opened? When we went into the kitchen, it was closed. But it's open now. What do you think that means?
They opened it.
Most likely.
And if we take Route C, we're going backwards.
That would be pointless.
Then that means...
All 4 looked at the map. Always at the staircase. Lazy curve leading down deeper
Route
into the
D,
ship.
then.
D it is.
Yup, Route D.
Then we're set.
They jogged down the stairs until they reached the C deck.
Everything looks okay here.
Let's check the next deck just to be sure.
Yeah, just like I thought. D-deck is totally underwater.
Just like the bottom of the central staircase.
The smooth surface
At least
like a
the water
great
level
mirror.
hasn't really changed.
Small comfort.
May as well head back to C deck.
What else is here?
There are 2 elevators over there at the top of the stairs, just like the floor above.
Hold on. These are kind of different. See? There's a card reader on the side.
Another strange mark.
Hey, look! It's Lotus's symbol.
Huh?
See? It's the woman symbol with horns on it. That seems
Got him.
like... Oh, ouch, 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 ouch!
Otis had taken hold of the jumpies there. Kinda shaken violently, and he thought he had heard a low growl.
What was
Maybe my
that
throat.
about the mark again?
Nothing.
Such violence. Jumpy began to wonder if she was not the devil itself. Comfortable smile and
This
June
is a
spoke up.
Mercury symbol.
I think Mars and Mercury in this game. Bungie's in
The
shambles.
horns symbolize the wings on Hermes' staff.
Hermes, herpes, whatever.
Pardon me? I'm gonna hydrate. Okay.
If we can't get this thing to work, these elevators aren't going anywhere.
In other words, we need a key card with the Mercury symbol on it.
Probably.
I guess we can't get on then. Let's just disregard the elevators for now.
How about this hallway on the left?
Whoa, there's so many doors.
They weren't sure how many, but certainly enough to be
Damn
discouraging.
it. If we try and search all these, the sun's gonna go down before we've done half of them.
I think the sun already set.
I have a feeling this ship is the only thing that's going to be going down anytime soon.
That's even worse.
Well, we can come back to this hallway later. Let's check the hallway on the other side, shall we?
Time to head back to the stairs.
To the right was
Now
a
the
small
right
hallway. Quickly, they headed into it. Approximately the same size as the alcove in front of the stairs. Hallway led towards the stern, and at its end was a set
There are
of double
doors
doors.
here too. Well, I guess it's just 4 this time.
Let's open them.
All right, let's start with this one.
Junpei nodded and grabbed the one closest to him. Gave it a small tug and felt
It
it
isn't
move.
locked. I'm going to open it.
Thrilled to have found an unlocked door, he threw it open. Junpei didn't know what to think out of what he saw.
What?
3, 7, and 8. They stood unable to speak. Others simply stared open-mouthed. A few long moments, Santa managed to speak.
What the hell is this? This place is huge.
A massive room stretched out in front of them, more a cavern than a room. Vastness was oppressive, and it bore down to the 4 companions. It was not empty, however. The entire room was filled with lines upon lines of beds.
Oh, there are beds everywhere.
They were simple things, little more than pipes and thin mattresses.
Is this a hospital?
He had at last been able to put a name to the harsh scent that pervaded the
It
room.
definitely has the smell.
Could be. I see medicine cabinets and surgical tools.
Hey, look there. The 4 doors at the end.
Three of them were emblazoned with large single-digit numbers made of with thick red paint.
The left door says 3. The second door is blank, but the third has a 7. And the rightmost door is 8. There's no doubt. They're numbered doors.
Why is the second door blank? That seems kind of strange, don't you think?
No point worrying about it right now. Let's see if these will open first.
Yes, that sounds like a good plan.
Jumpy headed towards the doors, waving his way between the beds. Started with door 3 on the left, and moved to the right until he reached door 8. Well, how do you think they would open? That one maybe, but these 3, why?
Oh, it's no use.
Well, of course. If it was that easy to open these doors, what would be the point of the notary game? We have to activate the red, or the numbered doors won't... Wait a minute.
What's wrong?
Look, the display on the red. There's nothing on it.
Huh?
Don't you remember? The red at the central staircase? If no one was inside, it said vacant.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But this one,
There's nothing on it.
right?
I wonder if it's broken.
Only one way to find out.
It's not responding.
Took 4 turns placing their hands. All 4 took their turns placing their hands on the red, but he refused to respond. They pulled the lever and still did nothing. As soon as they discovered, it wasn't only the red for door 8 that was behaving
How
strangely.
about the red on door 7? And door 3?
None of them are working.
What does it mean?
I knew it. They're broken. Zero sure sucks at maintenance.
No, that's impossible. You really think Zero, who prepared all of this, would make such a stupid, simple mistake?
Maybe, but that doesn't explain why this thing ain't working.
One sec. Just 1 second. What? Okay, where were we? At that moment, they had heard a voice from behind them.
The bottom of the device has been removed.
It spun around to see,
Snake!
but it was more than just Snake. Ace, Seven, Clover. Although they were glad to see one another, it wasn't terribly surprising that they had. It had been the other way, a party who would open the gate in front of the kitchen. Wasn't unreasonable that they'd bump into one another eventually. Mrs. Snake's team, however, did look rather surprised.
How did you end up here?
That's my line?
Perhaps we should exchange information.
After a moment of silence and surprise, everyone suddenly began to talk, desperate to exchange information. Talked about the rooms they'd been through, and how they ended up in the same place. Of course, none of it was very useful information, but that hardly mattered. They were happy to simply see one another again. Although the level of cheer varied greatly from person to person, each of them was wavering some manner of smile, almost as though they had already forgotten about the death of the ninth man. No, thought Jumpy, perhaps that wasn't it. Perhaps thoughts of his death were what drove them to smile at one another. Not in a morbid or hateful way, no, the ninth man had died, but they were still alive, and that was something to be happy about. A sort of simple, uncomplicated joy, Jumpy thought. The joy of being alive. Still alive. He felt sorry for the ninth man, but more than anything, Jumpy was still happy to be alive.
There you have it. Our half of the story.
For once to summarize, oh my goodness. Part finished, Ace fell silent. For a moment, Jumpy was silent and thought,
Okay,
then
let
he
me see if I
spoke.
got all this straight. When you guys got here, the bases for the Reds were already gone.
And you looked all over this room, but you couldn't find anything.
So you figured that there might be something in the hallway with all the doors.
So you went and had a look?
Yeah.
And while you were looking around, you heard voices.
Uh-huh. So you followed the voices and came back here.
Indeed. And that was how we found you.
Why don't we check those 3 Reds again, just in case?
You're right. Huh. There's a long, thin gap on the bottom. I think it's a slot for something. Probably electronic.
Well, this isn't good. If the red is inactive, we can't keep going.
Well, what about that hallway over there? Isn't there anywhere else we can go?
No, there isn't. There are plenty more hospital rooms, but nothing else.
Hospital rooms. That's what's behind all those doors?
Yes. There are a number of individual rooms in addition to this large one.
There was a door at the end of the hallway, but it was locked.
There was an astrological symbol engraved near the keyhole, however. I was able to get a good feel of it. I believe it was the symbol of Jupiter.
Not again. Those goddamn things are everywhere.
I wonder what they all mean.
For a moment, everyone was
While we're
silent, deep in
asking what
thought.
things mean, what's the deal with this room? I mean, I thought this was a cruise ship, but I can't imagine a cruise ship would have a hospital like this.
Well, the people of 7 who answered, and with calm confidence.
Well, I figure it's probably a hospital ship. Chances are it's the Gigantic.
The Gigantic?
Junpei looked confused. With
What
everyone
is
else.
this gigantic?
Zivin knit his brows for a moment, then began to explain.
Gigantic. It was a
Stereotype?
sister ship to the Titanic, built in the early 20th century. Actually, the Titanic had 2 sister ships, and they looked exactly the same. The Gigantic was said to be one of them. They intended to make her a passenger liner like the Titanic, but World War I began soon after the ship launched. The British Navy took her over and made her a hospital ship. At some point during the war, the Gigantic was damaged by a German mine in the Aegean Sea. She ran aground afterwards, so she didn't end up sunk. What happened to her after that? One theory going around is that a man named Lord Gordain bought her. Seemed like he'd been one of the few to survive the Titanic sinking. That trauma turned him into some kind of obsessive collector of all things related to the Titanic. Soon enough, the guy wanted the Titanic itself. Which was impossible, of course. It's stuck at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. But the Gigantic wasn't. And seeing as she was...
So you're saying this Lord Bourdain bought this ship?
Yeah, at least I think I am.
That's impossible. No way we're in some boat that's almost 100 years old.
Pipe down, just pay attention. What, that's it? Well, have you got any proof?
Proof?
Proof that this ship is really the Gigantic.
Well, this ship's got stuff that's like the Titanic and a hospital ship. So, I just figured...
Oh, for goodness. Don't tell me that's your only reason.
No, I've got more.
Like?
Well, I mean...
Seven looked around, desperately doing anything to avoid meeting Lotus's piercing stare. Scratched his head for a moment, then gave up. Finally, he opened his mouth. Lotus sighed and
I
shook her
guess your
head.
memory isn't back yet, is it?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hey, whoa, wait a minute. Memory isn't back?
Junpei was he felt legitimately shocked by what seemed to be new and very important information. Everyone else ever seemed unimpressed. They all looked at Junpei as though he had said something very strange.
Yeah.
Your point being?
Started to revise his attitude for the next question.
Was I the only one that didn't know? Why?
Everyone nodded.
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't tell you, huh? I told the rest of them before we ran into you on the stairs. I told them I couldn't remember a damn thing from before I woke up.
What?
Almost as if to save Junpei from further embarrassment. Dawn of the 11th hour. 7 more till death.
A bell.
It sounds like the clock in the main stairway.
Junpei counted each chime carefully.
10, 11, 12.
Never mind, 12.
12.
It was an hour and a half inside the stinking kitchen.
It's midnight. Then we've still got 6 hours left, right?
We don't have any time to screw around. Let's get going. We gotta find the missing parts for the Reds.
What do you mean, find? How on earth do you propose we do that?
We've looked everywhere in this room. That only leaves one place to look.
One?
Well, not just one.
Wait. Don't tell me you mean we need to search all of the other rooms.
Don't freak out. We've already searched 4 of them.
4 rooms?
We just have to split up the rest between the 8 of us. If each of us can do 6 rooms apiece, we'll have the other 48 rooms cleared in no time.
There are 48 other rooms?
Her earlier experiences had apparently not encouraged Lotus to trust Seven. Seven scratched his head awkwardly.
Maybe?
Alright, so everyone knows which area they're searching?
Yeah.
Yes!
Junpei was chosen to search the rooms on the starboard side, moving from
We'll
far
all meet
fore
up
to
when
aft.
the clock goes off again. How about in that room with all the beds?
Yeah, sounds straightforward enough.
I'll shout if I find any of the components we need.
I hope we can find them within the time limit.
If we can't, then we'll just have to come up with another plan.
Right. Then let's do this.
As they scamper off. The details were decided and they left to begin searching. Out into the hallway they went, each to the rooms they'd been assigned. However, from far away, Junpei heard the bell ring. Did so only once, it was 1 a.m.
I better get back to the others.
Jolly through the entrance of the large hospital room to find 6 of the others already there. I'm missing the blind dude. So that was Snake. Hey, Santa, Clover, June, 7, and Lotus. Gathered in front of the door. You let the dude who can't see walk around alone? Proud to be accurate, they had gathered in front of the red next to the door number 8.
What are they doing over there?
One of them found the missing piece.
What happened, guys?
It was June who answered him,
Jumpy, look!
pointing at the red. Pushed through the others until he stood in front of it. Vacant. He knew what she had meant. Jumpy's
Come
side.
on, guys. Who was it? I thought we were supposed to yell if we found it.
Well,
Jumpy wondered why she was hesitating. I looked as confused as June, but
What the
kept their
hell?
mouths shut.
What is up with you guys?
They all knew something he didn't, and Junpei wasn't about to leave things that way. Lotus frowned
Well,
and
that's
spoke.
the thing. We don't know.
You don't know.
When I got back, it was already like this. There was no one else here. That means I was the first one back, but the missing parts were already back in the red.
What? Let me see.
Junpei looked at the bottom of the red again, just to make sure. thought it had been open at the bottom was now
Right.
covered with metal.
It's in there. What about the other two?
They're the same.
Let me take a look.
Junpei quickly examined the other two boxes.
It's just as you said.
Satisfied that they were also repaired, but still very confused, he returned to the
Alright,
others.
I just want to be sure here. Nobody has any idea what the hell happened here, right?
Correct.
None.
Ace and June nodded silently. Seven raised his hand as if to say not me, and Santa just shrugged. Only Clover lowered her head and did nothing.
Wait a minute.
That was when he noticed.
Where's Snake?
Junpei swept his eyes across the room a second time, but Snake was nowhere to be seen.
Does that mean that he found them?
I've no idea. There's nothing to suggest it, but nothing to suggest he didn't either.
I don't suppose we'll know until we can ask him in person.
Well, whatever he did or didn't do, he's pretty damn late. What the hell is he up to?
Maybe he's lost.
Yeah, well, that seems likely. Dude can't see. I don't know how he gets around in the first place.
Clover raised her head.
That's impossible!
Suddenly she was shouting.
He's blind, but he's got really great hearing. He can get around as well as anyone who can see. So he couldn't get lost. That's impossible.
Clover started to shake, and the knuckles of her hands had gone white. Spun around, but before she did, Junpei noticed tears welling up in her eyes.
Look for him.
Words were barely out of her mouth when she
Hey,
began to run.
hold on, Clover. Wait!
Junpei got down to her, but he was too slow. Kept going, and before anyone else could
Well,
react,
that
she was
didn't
gone.
work. Damn it. What should we do now?
Well, the red is working now.
No, we're not leaving two people behind. We should go look for them.
Oh man, this ain't good.
Oh, yes, what an excellent idea. We just wasted a bunch of time looking for some piece of electronic junk. Now let's waste some more by looking for a couple of idiots.
Then remain here if you feel you must, but there's no time. We've only 5 hours left.
Junpei and the others nodded to one another and took off at a run. In front of the stairs that led to the B-deck, they decided to
split
split up.
All right, I'll take this direction.
Then I shall look that way.
I'll be over here.
See you all later.
Only two of them were left. Those two were Junpei and June, who had been a few steps behind the
We
others.
should go too.
Yes, let's go. But where should we start?
Let's see.
Casino, first class cabin, hallway with all the rooms. Back to the large hospital room.
Let's head back to the large hospital room.
Huh? Why would we go back?
Well, I mean, we might have just missed him, you know? Maybe he really was just late.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Okay, let's go.
Turned and ran down the hallway to their right.
Hey, wait. That's...
On the way to the large hospital room, Junpei and June noticed Santa sitting next to the number
Santa?
3 door. Junpei paused. What should Junpei do? Turned around and walked
I
away from
doubt we'll
Santa.
learn anything from him anyway.
Jumpy?
No, nothing. Let's go, June.
They took June and left the large hospital room. Where do they go next?
Let's go have a look at the hall with all the rooms.
I'll go wherever you do. Let's go.
Quickened their pace and headed for the bow.
Oh,
Bow.
it's Ace.
Headed them further down the
Hey,
hallway, spotted
Snake!
Ace.
Where are you? Answer me if you're there.
Why don't we just leave
He has
this
it covered.
area to Ace? We can...
I don't mind, but
Well, let's... Let's go check out the first class cabin.
okay, I'm coming with you.
Quickened their pace and headed back to B deck. Out of the first class cabin, they found Clover. She's standing in front of the wall, staring at a meaningless point on the wall, her eyes blank.
Are you all
Talking
right?
to her? Did his best to sound friendly, but Clover didn't respond.
Look, I know you're really worried, but
I have no words to say that didn't sound hollow and fake. Junpei hesitated. Clover was so consumed by worry and fear that Junpei feared it would crush her. Her actions didn't surprise him. Suddenly lost her brother, who had seemed to have been very close to. Voice was thin and barely audible.
Hmm?
I said leave me alone! You're
He was screaming.
annoying! Just go away and leave me alone! Just looking at you guys is pissing me off! Go away, okay? Just go somewhere else! Stop bothering me!
Junpei was taken aback. His anger and hate. Dune's eyes had gone wide with surprise as well.
Still here? Did you hear me? Huh? Fine, forget it. If you aren't gonna leave, then I'll just.
all right. Let's go, June.
Yeah.
Turned and left Clover. As it did, Junpei glanced back over his shoulder to see Clover wiping tears from her face. Clover had driven home the misery of the situation, but Junpei told himself that getting depressed wouldn't get him nowhere
We
but depressed.
really need to find Snake, for Clover's sake.
It is best to push away the misery and depression.
So,
Force a
where do
smile.
you think we should go next? How about the casino?
Let's go take a look.
Turned and headed off down the hallway to their right at the jog. Before they knew it, they were there. So was Lotus, leaning against the wall,
Hey,
examining her nails.
what do you think you're doing?
Glanced up at him,
Isn't it
impressed.
obvious I'm looking for Snake?
I'm just not seeing it.
Really? Maybe you need to look harder.
I don't think that's the problem.
Oh, by the way, I've got a proposal for you two. Care to hear it?
What
Sure.
is it?
I haven't heard the other two. Why
Well, I
not?
don't like to beat around the bush, so I'll get right to it. Why don't we team up?
Team up?
Yeah. What? You need me to explain it to you? I'm saying, why don't we go through a numbered door?
Even if we wanted to, that's impossible.
Why?
Jumpy's bracelet number is 5, mine is 6, and yours is 8. Our digital root would be 1.
5 plus 6 plus 8 is 19. 1 plus 9 equals 10. 1 plus
But
0
there's
equals
no
1.
number 1 door in the large hospital room. The only doors there are 3, 7, and 8.
Then we add another person.
Huh?
Who?
What? Isn't that easy? 7.
Oh.
Do you know where 7
If
is?
we add 7, 5 plus 6 plus 8 plus 7 equals 26. The digital root of 26, 2 plus 6 equals 8.
For then we go through the numbered 8 door.
Wait a minute.
But
What about the other 4? Ace, Snake, Santa, and Clover.
Well, why don't you add them up?
simple.
1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. And 1 plus 0 equals 1. The digital root for those 4 would be 1.
That's right.
And you know the number 1 door isn't in the big hospital room, right?
Of course I know that.
No! Are you saying you'd leave them behind?
Of course not. What kind of woman do you think I am? Once we get off the ship, we could come back and rescue them, couldn't we? Then we wouldn't really be leaving them behind.
Don't try to lie to us. I don't think you do anything of the sort.
Really? Why do you think that?
You remember, don't you? We have less than 5 hours left. Even if we manage to escape, there's no way we could come back to rescue them in less than 5 hours.
Well, you never know until you try.
No, you're not thinking this through. Even if we brought 7 with us, we wouldn't be able to get off the ship. The 4 of us couldn't open door 9. It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
Yeah, that's right. The digital root for the 4 of us would be 8, so we'd have to add Ace to make 9.
That's right. Unless we bring Ace too, we'll be stuck.
Lotus scratched the back of her ear.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Unfortunate. That's all you have to say?
Didn't sound particularly bothered by what Junpei said. Nor does she seem particularly surprised.
Well, let's try and
Whoopsies.
find another way, okay? A way to get out of here with all 8 of us.
That's impossible. Are you being serious? And you do know that only 5 people, at most, can go through one of the numbered doors, right? The number 9 isn't going to be an exception to that rule. Regardless, at least 3 people will get left behind.
Huh.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But when he said it, Junpei felt a chill run down his spine.
Wait just a second. You're skipping over a really big detail.
What she said was true, but how this could remain Cavalier? That's so terrifying. A prospect was beyond him.
Really okay? That means 3 people will die in the end. Are you okay with that? That's just...
What was his forehead
I can
furrowed?
have a moment alone. There's some things I need to think about.
Junpei and June turned and began walking away from Lotus.
Didn't turn out to be a very pleasant conversation.
Yeah.
Junpei's heart felt heavy and his steps sluggish. But he told himself pessimism
Well,
will get them nowhere.
regardless,
Forced himself to
let's
smile and
just
turn to
focus
June.
on finding Snake for now, okay?
Yes, you're right. We can think about those other things later.
Yeah.
Junpei nodded.
Alright. Where should we go next?
Guess we can go talk
Let's
to
go
these
back
2 nerds then?
downstairs and check out that hallway with all the doors.
They ran down the stairs. Okay.
Oh,
Talk to Ace.
nobody's here.
Never mind.
Let's
I think
look
of course there's
somewhere
nowhere to be
else.
found.
But where?
Let's go take a look around.
No.
Let's try somewhere else. Hey, why don't we go back to...
Sure.
I don't think anyone is...
Alright, back to B.
Why don't we go check out the first...
All right, let's...
No one's here. Maybe we'll have more luck somewhere. But where? How about the casino?
Let's go take a look.
We've been everywhere.
Let's try somewhere else. Let's go take a look at the first class cab.
Am I losing it?
Maybe we'll have more luck. But where? Let's head back to the...
All right, let's...
We've literally just been everywhere.
I don't think anyone...
Nobody's here. Finished searching. Snake was nowhere to be found.
Snake hasn't been anywhere we've searched.
Lotus looked around at 6 frustrated
Can't
faces and
keep looking
spoke.
for him. Wherever he is, it's not here. We need to get moving.
Junpei couldn't disagree with what she was saying. Snake seemed to have completely disappeared. No point in wasting any more time. Others seemed to be having similar thoughts, but they stayed silent. Finally,
We
Seven
don't
spoke
got a
up.
choice. We're not gonna find Snake. There's a problem, though. We've got to figure out who's gonna go through which door.
Yes, I have a proposal.
Walked back and forth across the floor, her heels clicking against the wood. Finally, she
Why don't
stopped.
we decide on one person to sacrifice?
Sacrifice?
Well, perhaps that's a bit of a harsh word, but yes. You've all figured it out by now, haven't you? We can't all make it through those doors. If we split into 2 teams of 4 and 3 people respectively, then 3 people will be left behind. If we split into 2 teams of 5 and 2 people respectively, then 2 people will be left behind. But if we split into 2 groups of 3 and leave 1 person out, then only 1 person will be left behind.
You need 3 to 5 to go through a door. Leaving behind 3 people with 2 teams of 4 and 3. Bill wasn't quite sure that was true.
2 people get left behind if we split into 5 and 2. and 1 person is left behind if we split into 3, 3, and 1. I got that part. You can't go through the numbered doors with any less than 3 people. But if we split into 4 and 3, then why do 3 people have to be left behind?
I can go through the door, my guy.
Numbers. Let's say we go through door 7 with 1, 4, 5, 6. Who's left over?
That would be 3, 7, 8.
What's the digital root for that?
3 plus 7 plus 8 is 18, so add 1, 8, 9.
Exactly. But door 9 isn't here, right? That means 3, 7, 8 won't be going anywhere. That was just an example, of course. There are a lot of different combinations, but the result will always be the same. It doesn't matter which 4 it is. The 3 that are left over can't go through any of the doors. Go ahead and calculate it if you have the time. You'll see. Anyway, that's how it is. Now, if we can get back to my proposal, we only have to sacrifice 1 person if we split into 3, 3, and 1.
Seb spoke, his voice strained.
You're saying we gotta decide who's gonna stay behind.
Yes, we do. Given our circumstances, it's logically and morally the best solution. If the other 6 are to survive, then 1 person has to sacrifice themselves.
No, that's too cruel!
What's so cruel about it?
To just sacrifice someone like that?
Then what's your plan? Maybe we should sacrifice 2 people instead of just 1.
That's not what I meant! We shouldn't sacrifice anyone!
I told you, that's impossible. Wake up.
Whoa, whoa, calm down, you two.
Santa stepped between Lotus and
What
June.
Lotus is trying to say is, you should aim to bring the greatest amount of happiness to the greatest amount of people, right?
Exactly. That's how democracy works. And for that reason, I think the only fair way to decide who will be sacrificed is through a vote. What do you think?
No! That's terrible!
I'm not asking you. Shut up. What about you, Santa?
Me? Well, I agree.
All right, that's 1 vote for. Counting mine, that's 2. 7.
I can't say I agree with you, but we don't exactly have a choice. If we don't do something, we're all gonna die.
Oh, glad to see you get it. If I can get 1 more vote, then it's decided. What about you, Clover?
Clover had moved away from the group and was sitting on one of the beds. Whole body drooped. Junpei didn't know if she'd even
Hey,
heard Lotus's proposal.
Clover,
Lotus walked over to Clover and gently laid a hand on her
your
shoulder.
brother has to be behind one of the numbered doors. We've searched everywhere, but we didn't find him. Doesn't that mean he has to have gone through one of them somehow?
Clover slowly
Let's go
lifted her
look for
face.
him together, okay? If we sacrifice 1 person, then we can go look for him. You agree with me, right?
Okay.
Clover nodded once.
The motion carries.
Lotus spun around and walked towards Junpei.
Now, let's start a vote to...
That won't be necessary.
Lotus had barely spoken for Lotus's entire speech. Everyone jumped a little. 6 pairs of eyes turned to look at him. Didn't seem to
I
notice
will
or
say
even care.
That should solve our problem, yes?
Ace, what are you saying? No, you can't do that! That won't solve anything!
Kenny, anyway? I didn't remember the numbers, but... June's voice shook, and she looked around desperately for someone to agree with her. Ace simply looked at her.
I'm afraid you may have misunderstood me. I said I would stay, but I never said I would sacrifice myself.
Huh?
I trust you. Each and every one of you. I believe you'll come back for me.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's optimistic, and then there's just nuts. Those doors only go one way. You go in, you don't come out. If we go through them.
You won't be able to return, correct?
Yeah.
True, but that will not be the case once you've escaped from the ship.
What?
Please, I beg you. Once you've escaped, come back and rescue me. Ideally, within the time limit Zero has given us.
No, that's ridiculous. There's no way we could get back in time.
Finally, Junpei could hold
We
his
got
tongue no
5
longer.
hours left. We don't even know where the hell we are. How on earth are we gonna find someone to come and rescue you?
Then, perhaps you would prefer to stay instead of me? Or perhaps you would be willing to leave June behind?
As his voice was dignified and without a hint of cruelty or malice, Junpei had no rebuttal.
There's no other choice. Then I see we've come to our conclusion. Go on. Don't worry yourselves about me. Go, quickly.
Junpei stood frozen by indecision, unable to move. June bit her lip so hard that Junpei feared she would break the skin. Santa stood against the wall, calm and aloof. Seven tore his beanie from his head and turned it over anxiously in his hands. Only Clover stared at Ace, with an expression Junpei was unable to decipher, but his attitude to her was different from the others.
Let's accept his kind offer then.
Smiled, her eyes bright. Ace answered with a smile of his own.
I think this is the best for me. Perhaps I'll be able to take a nap. It may be my age, but I get tired so easily these days.
As he spoke, Ace lowered himself down to the floor next to one of the beds. From somewhere deep in the ship, Junpei suddenly heard the screeching of the metal on metal. Almost as if the ship was screaming. Would it really hold until the time limit was up? Already D-deck was flooded. Sudden silence, the only sound was the sad metal wail of the ship. Unsurprisingly, it was Lotus who spoke
what
first.
are you waiting for? We're wasting time. Why don't we hurry it up?
As if a spell had been broken, the others all began to
You're
talk
right.
at once.
We should get going. That's all we can do right now.
7.
Seriously. Honestly, I was getting kind of sick of listening to you guys talk.
You too, Santa? I have to find my brother. Wait, all of you. Let's just calm down and think about this. There has to be a way to get everyone out. There has to be. Right, Jumpy? Say something.
Yeah, let's think. There's gotta be another way.
Or sounded hollow and fake.
Forget about it. I'll figure it out on my own.
Spun around and ran towards Ace. Slumped down next to the bed with June, grabbed his
Ace!
arm and pulled.
Come on, Ace. Please stand up. You can't give up yet. We just have to sit down together and think about this. We'll figure out a way that we can all get out of here.
And it happened. Ace fell forward, slumped over into the wooden floor, his body folded in half like a boxer out cold. June cried out and dropped to her knees beside him. Put her arm around his neck and did her best to lift him up.
What happened? Ace, say something.
Are your eyes okay? Shook him up frantically. His eyes fluttered open.
I'm all right.
Voice was weak and
How
slightly
are
slurred.
you all right?
This.
Held out his left arm and slowly opened his hand.
A syringe?
And it was a syringe and a small vial. Vial was empty. Only recently been emptied, a few drops clung to the sides. Label taped to the side of the container. Surferil Beta. Surferil Beta.
Sulfonyl beta. What does this do? Did you use this?
Yes. It's just anesthetic. I'll be fine.
Anesthetic.
I found it earlier. While we were searching the hospital rooms, I thought it might be useful later. I didn't think I'd be using it on myself.
Why did you do this?
Didn't I tell you? I'd like to take a nap. I really am very tired.
Junpei knew that wasn't why he'd done it. Instead, injected himself with anesthetic to forestall Junpei and Jim's attempts to bring him along. He couldn't move, there was nothing they could do. Injecting himself so that they would be forced to
Ace.
leave him behind.
Is there something you want to say? I just like to sleep a little. Could you keep it down?
No, don't, Ace. Don't fall asleep.
You feel warm. So comfortable. I think I'll have a nice dream.
As his eyelids drooped further and further, almost as though he was dying.
Ace! Ace!
He shook his shoulder again and again. This time he didn't respond. Only gentle rising and falling of his chest told them he was alive. Junpei was relieved to see he was in fact
Let's
still
get him
breathing.
up on a bed.
Lifted Ace up off the floor and laid him on the bed he'd been leaning against. When Junpei turned around, Lotus gave him a
Well,
look
we
of
really
pity.
don't have a choice now. We can't let his sacrifice go to waste, right?
Like you even mean that.
You say something?
No, nothing.
Felt wrong, but he had to agree. Suddenly Santa spoke.
But we're not done choosing yet, are we?
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, we haven't decided who's going in what door.
Ah, yes. Yes, that's true.
Enough of this screwing around. Let's decide. You first, Lotus. Which door do you want?
I want door number 8. It's the same number as my bracelet number.
Got it. You're 8. You're next 7. Which one do you want?
I'll take 7. I can't get along with that old lady.
What? What did you just say?
His face distorted by rage, Lotus took a step forward towards 7. Threw up his hands and made a face like a child caught with his hand in a
Me?
cookie jar.
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, you're gonna get it next time.
Shot him a glare that would have melted steel, and turned and stalked off.
Alright, who's next?
And his gaze moved across the 3 people left. He stopped on Junpei.
Which door do you want?
At last, Junpei's mind was already made up. Sorry. But we can't take 3. We can only go through 2 doors because it's 2 teams of 3. So if we go through 7, that is 7 and 5, it's just 12, 13. So we could either add Santa. If we add Santa, it'll be he's 3, right? Yeah. So he's 16. He'll come with us. Go through 8, we bring June. We'll bring June.
I think I'm gonna go with door 8.
Okay, 8 it is.
Yeah.
Alright then.
No, bring Clover?
Means June's gotta go through 7.
Yeah.
Why?
What?
Said the grimace and muttered angrily to himself.
If
Arm
the
began to
6 of us
explain.
are gonna keep going without leaving anyone behind, there are only 3 ways we can do it.
I just kind of forgot Clover was even there. I know.
5 and 8 go through 7, and 4, 6, and 7 go through 8. 4,
Plan
5,
B.
and 7 go through 7, and 3, 6, and 8 go through 8. Or
Plan
3,
C.
6, and 7 go through 7, and 4, 5, and 8 get 8. There are no other combinations. In other words, 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 can never go through the same doors. You get it now?
Sent to finish, June looked over at Junpei, tears welling up at the corner of her eyes.
They're saying we aren't gonna see each other again for a long time.
Junpei felt just as June did. He wanted to be at her side through whatever trials they were preparing to face. He knew they were to survive, he had to swallow his feelings. In order for the 6 of them to move forward, he and June had to be separated. Looked at June, he was scared to lose her, but he smiled and steeled his resolve and did his best to
come on.
smile.
You're making it sound like we're never gonna see each other again. We gotta split up, but only for a while. This is just like when we went into the 4 and 5 doors, remember? We got split up then too, but we all met back up. I'll bet 7 and 8 are just like that.
You mean they're connected somewhere?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Didn't sound very hopeful. 7 then
I'm
interjected.
sure they're gonna connect somewhere.
Why? What makes you think so?
If they don't, then neither team can get through door 9. In other words, the game would end right here. Zero's been on top of his shit so far. I don't think he'd blow it now. I'm damn sure that son of a bitch wants to have his fun as long as possible. He's not gonna end this game until we get through the 9 door.
June said nothing. Tears were gone, but her eyes were still sad as they looked at Jumpy. Met them, and with more reassurance he could manage, laid his hand
Everything's
gently on
gonna
his
be
shoulder.
fine. We're gonna see each other again. I promise.
June bit her lip and gave them almost imperceptible nod,
Promise?
which is barely above a whisper. And his voice shattered the moment.
You guys are done, right?
Stretching continued.
That's pretty much it. Clover and I will both go into separate groups. I figure I'll take 7 and Clover can take 8. Any problems with that, Clover?
Clover looked away and was silent for a moment. More of a dismissal than an agreement, but Santa didn't seem to
All
care.
right, we're ready to go then.
This is where I save it. Let's put something else. I guess Isaac. I'll figure it out.